Patrick Hutzel from intensivecarehotline.com with another quick tip for families in intensive care. Today I want to talk about, again, one of the frustrations that readers share with us all the time. And the frustrations that readers share with us all the time is uncertainty about quality of life when their loved one is in intensive care. I should say uncertainty about any future quality of life. And that is a real concern that needs to be addressed appropriately in ICU. And what I find is missing in this debate about quality of life is appropriateness of the discussion, because what we hear over and over again when families in intensive care come to us, they say, well, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my spouse, whoever is in ICU, and ICU is telling us that A, they're not going to survive, and B, if they do survive, they won't have any quality of life and they need care for the rest of their life. And the list of doom and gloom is very long that families are often given. And it's very important for you to do the fact checks here. What are the fact checks? So the fact checks are that approximately 90% of intensive care patients survive. Okay, so that means the odds are in your loved one's favor. That is number one. Now, survival does not talk about quality of life. However, the reality is that most people who are alive, irrespective whether they've got a good or not so good quality of life, are happy to be alive, right? And also, please keep in mind, quality of life is a perception, no more than that. Your perception about quality of life is different than my perception what's a good quality of life. Your perception about what is an acceptable or a good quality of life is different compared to the intensive care team's perception of quality of life. Well, your agenda and your goal is to get the best outcome for your critically loved one. The agenda often for intensive care teams is to empty their ICU bed as quickly as possible, because the demand for ICU beds is just very high. The demand for ICU staff, doctors, nurses, respiratory therapists, is very high because of the high demand for critical care. So, you have to ask yourself, what's the agenda? Well, your agenda is to get the best outcomes. Your agenda is to save your loved one's life. Intensive care team's agenda is often, once again, empty ICU bed, create a narrative that's negative so they can keep the upper hand. So what that means is, intensive care teams try to be negative by default and create a narrative of doom and gloom. So it's easier for them to, quote unquote, sell you on end of life situations, for example. It's easier for them to, quote unquote, sell you on a withdrawal of treatment. So I hope you're following here that, quality of life is nothing more but a perception, and quality of life is nothing more you deciding what is acceptable for you and for your family. Now, also, intensive care teams often operate from a limited mindset. With services like intensive care at home, a lot more is possible at home. With intensive care at home, there's people living at home with disabilities, and they're very happy to be alive because they've got the care and support that they need to live the quality of life that is possible for them, and they're very happy to be alive. The option was that they often would have died in ICU if families or like a service like intensive care at home hadn't advocated for them, to live a better quality of life instead of dying in ICU. So they're going home on life support, often with ventilation, tracheostomy, TPN, for example, BiPAP, CPAP, and live a good quality of life at home. So have a look at intensivecarehome.com for more information there. So I hope that helps. That is my quick tip for today. If you have a loved one in intensive care and you need help, go to intensivecarehotline.com and call us on one of the numbers on the top of our website, or simply send us an email to support@intensivecarehotline.com with your questions. Also, have a look at our membership for families in intensive care at intensivecaresupport.org. There you have access to me and my team 24 hours a day in the membership area and via email. And we answer all questions intensive care and intensive care at home related. I also offer one-to-one consulting for families in intensive care. I talk to doctors and nurses directly, talk to you, talk to your other family members. I can represent you and your family with the intensive care teams so that you get better outcomes and make informed decisions. I have worked in intensive care for over 20 years in 3 different countries, and I have worked as a nurse unit manager for over 5 years in intensive care as well. Now, if you need a second opinion and a medical record review in real time while your loved one is in intensive care, please contact us as well. We give you a second opinion and look at medical records in real time. And again, we can combine that with talking to doctors and nurses directly, also represent you in family meetings. If you need a medical record review after intensive care, if you have unanswered questions, if you need closure, and if you or if you are suspecting a medical negligence and you want to find out whether that's happened or not, please contact us as well. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for regular updates for families in intensive care. Click the like button, click the notification bell, share the video with your friends and families, and comment below what you want to see next or what questions and insights that you have. Thank you so much for watching. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecarehotline.com and intensivecareathome.com, and I will talk to you in a few days. Take care.